Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Mattel Jurassic World Rebirth release. This time we've got another of the basic figures, as we have the Spinosaurus. I have to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my buddy Eric for helping me to get a hold of this one. Again, he goes by the name BattleHornet_127 on Instagram, but he was kind enough to grab this as well as the other new basic figures from his local HEB store and send them my way. So a massive thank you goes out to him. But I'm definitely excited to check out the Spino. I feel like the T-Rex looked a little bit off, but the Spinosaurus is probably going to be pretty cool. And then here on the back, I'm not going to stand it up this time, you can basically just see the same images and everything that we had seen the last time as far as what other figures are in the line. 4 of which are reused sculpts that we already have reviews up for on the channel. We've also reviewed the T-Rex. We're now on the Spino. That means we've only got the Quetzalcoatlus and Mosasaurus after this. So let's pop the box open and check it out. So here is our Spinosaurus, and I must say that the basic Spino is surprisingly nice. It definitely looks better, in my opinion, than the T-Rex did. It does have that, still that sort of really skinny, awkward look, but this one, in my opinion, doesn't look nearly as awkward as the T-Rex did, so that's really exciting. And overall, I feel like the figure does look really nice. The sail also seems a bit short, but as per usual, when it comes to the basic figures, the proportions are never perfection, and we can definitely see that with the Spino as a whole. But it is a really cool version of the Spinosaurus from Rebirth. So I'm going to go ahead, reposition the camera so we can get a closer look. So starting here in the head sculpt of the Spinosaurus, you can see the skin texture looks really good. Definitely, again, pretty reminiscent to the way it's appeared on all of the Spinos that we have reviewed up until this point on the channel from Rebirth. One thing that I do like about this one is, although the teeth initially I thought were painted, the teeth are not painted, I kind of think, but you can see the teeth that kind of extend up here into the little hook in the jaw seems to actually have a little bit of paint. So maybe they're sort of painted, but not really. I'm not really sure, but they do actually run up into the darker tone of the upper part of the head. We primarily have a brown for the Spinosaurus and then a lighter kind of tannish tone here for the lower jaw that moves down into the throat before disappearing. We also have a yellow eye with a dark brown pupil, so basically the coloration of the body is the pupil. We can see those crests up there on the top of the head. The skin texture looks okay, kind of an ugly seam moving down the center of the head, but not terrible. We also have the ears sculpted out as we move back into the neck. We've got really nice looking skin wrinkles and skin folds as you move back into the side of the neck right here, which looks really cool. The scales are also quite vibrant. We have some osteoderms moving over the top of the neck as we lead down. As we move into the body, the detail does not cease. It continues to look super impressive. The sculpts on these Rebirth figures, in my opinion, are unquestionably some of the best that Mattel has ever produced. And you still see that as you move through the body of the Spinosaurus. Again, the scales look really good. There's some nice variation with some osteoderms and stuff popping up here and there, as well as those scoots kind of following along up near the sail. Very reminiscent to the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus as far as that goes. Moving up into the sail, the scales continue to look really good, but we also have a little extra variation of color with some yellows that kind of stripe down, moving through the sail of the Spinosaurus, which is definitely a very nice addition to this. I know these are basic figures, but imagine if they didn't include any paintwork in the sail. That would have definitely been a little bit sad. But as you move back up here into the arms, the scales again look super impressive as far as how vibrant and how much they just pop on the sculpt. We can see the elbow back there, nice like wrinkling and creasing in the skin moving down through the arm. The musculature is present as you lead into the hands. The scoots moving down the fingers are really, really vibrant. We've got the claws sculpted out but unpainted, unfortunately. We can see the webbing there kind of between the fingers. It looks like if it extended the fingers out, the webbing would definitely be there, which is really cool. We also have articulation forward and back in the arms, which looks really good. Moves very nicely. We can see some skin wrinkles and folds back here in the stomach of the Spino. As you move back, we have some more really impressive skin detail moving down through the leg and the thigh. The musculature is nicely shown off, but again, all sorts of wrinkling and stuff increasing as we lead down. We can see the kneecap right there as well as the calf muscle, and of course on top of forward and back leg articulation, which that's as far forward as it goes, but that's about as far back as it goes. Pretty much the same as the T-Rex, I think. You do also have the swivel in the ankle, which is pretty much classic Mattel articulation. We can see the scoots moving down the toes, and the claws again look great. You can even see, as I turn it and let the light hit it, some nice looking detail within the claws, and even the scales moving through the feet look really good. Of course, no painted claws or anything, but they do look nice. As we move back up into the tail, you've got some more skin wrinkles and folds leading out. You also have one more area of articulation. We can see the tail can go up and down, and also left and right. Out here, the tail is definitely a bit too short, no question about that, but again, what's weird is these figures, when it comes to the basic figures, used to have longer tails. That was one thing that I always felt like was appealing about the basics, but for some reason they've shortened the tails on these guys now, which definitely helps to make them look a little bit uglier than they used to. But as you move out, the tail, again, as far as the detail goes, continues to look really nice. No paintwork, a little curve at the end of the tail. If we take a look from the other side, you can really get a nice sense of how short the tail is, and again how much of an eyesore that is for the figure. But as you move through the body, you can also see that again the detail and everything pretty much looks the same as it did on the first side. We can see kind of like almost like alligator type or crocodilian type scales moving along the underside of the Spino as well. But definitely a really cool figure. I absolutely like this one a lot more than I like the T-Rex. And there actually might be another paint variant of this one coming, as Plush Boy Q recently had shown off to me an image of a different variant of the Spinosaurus, so hopefully we'll be getting a different version of this at some point as well. But as far as a length goes, you are actually looking at about 12¼ inches, or a little over 31 centimeters, and then for a height, I would say right around 5¼ inches, or about 13½ centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being next to our Spinosaurus, and as you can see, it's pretty much the standard size range for a 12-inch basic. It's right there as they usually are in like the Wild Roar size range. And here we have the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus kind of facing off as far as the basics go, giving you a good feel for the size of these two next to each other. And although I don't think these comparisons really matter much, it is pretty cool to still see the larger Rebirth Spinosaurus next to the smaller 12-inch basic version, as we have the Tail Thrasher Spino here next to it. And then we've got one final comparison with the Spinosaurus Danger Set version of the Spino next to the 12-inch basic version, which we can see again pretty cool looking next to each other, especially because the sizes aren't all that far off, but we can definitely see that the Danger Pack version is a bit larger. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World Rebirth 12-inch basic Spinosaurus, although looking a little weird, is definitely a fairly fun figure. It's absolutely nicer than the T-Rex was, and overall I actually really quite like this one. I think the sculpt looks very cool, very fun, very impressive when it comes to the fine detail. The more I see the new Spino, the more I become a fan of it again as far as the design goes. So I think overall they did a pretty good job, especially of replicating what we know of the Spinosaurus from Rebirth. As far as the actual paint application goes, again, it's a basic figure. You can't go into these expecting much as far as that goes, so very clearly we don't have much in the way of paintwork other than the primary brown color. We have the light tone of the lower jaw and then a striping moving down the sail. There is a bit of a speckling as you move through the body as well, so a little extra variation of color, but not a whole lot. You also have a little articulation, but again, not very much in that aspect either. I would really like to see them incorporate articulated jaws, but at the same time, I kind of enjoy the lack of articulated jaws, so it's sort of weird, but I feel like honestly they should just articulate the jaws at this point. But overall, it's not the greatest Spino in the line, but it is a pretty cool one. If you are interested, if you happen to have HEB stores near you, that's probably your best bet to get them. They haven't shown up online anywhere so far that you can purchase them, but hopefully they will at some point soon. So if you can get it, definitely pick it up and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.